Hey there, ladies. Sorry, I lost my Zoom camera. I did not know where it went. So I was digging around on all my tabs trying to find it. So I apologize for the delay, but thank you for being patient with me. Let me know how you're doing. I see a few of you on. Hey there, Morgan. Hey there, Shaylee. If you're still on with me live, say hello. Just making sure my sound's working. It looks like that's a go. But don't be afraid to say hello and drop it in the comments for me. How is everyone's Wednesday going? If you are here local, I hope you enjoyed the little bit of rain that we got. It was fantastic. Because of the rain, we did not have T-ball practice tonight, so I didn't feel like I came running in from outside having to get dinner on the table and get up here for my live. So I am thankful that I'm not rushed tonight, that I get to show up and be fully present and not just running. But let me know how everyone's doing. Say hello. Drop it in the comments if you're watching the replay, of course. Drop replay for me. Let me know how your week is going. Let me know some celebrations too. What's some good things that's going on in everyone's lives? We are going with baseball. We are, of course, getting closer to the pageant. I'm about a week and a half out, so prepping like crazy for that. Trying to stay out of my own head and practice what I preach. But here we are. So tonight, ladies, I really want to dig in on a topic that I find super interesting. And it was something several years ago, when I first thought about going into coaching. I got my trauma certification to become a certified trauma coach or a trauma recovery coach. With time, after hanging out in those communities, I realized that that wasn't the space I really wanted to be in. It was a blessing because it brought a lot of healing that I didn't realize I needed. It kind of opened up the doors to what's possible in this space. But more than anything, it was what I needed for my own healing. But something that came up when I was doing that training and going through that certification was a lot of talk about shame. And it was really powerful, really mind opening, really eye opening. And I learned so much. So that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight. A lot of the books I've been listening to here recently have talked a lot about shame. And so I just kind of felt like, since that was what was on my heart and on my mind, that's what we are going to talk about. So again, welcome in. If you're catching this live, say hello for me and let me know you're watching, that I'm not alone. But like usual, I would like us to start off just taking a moment to become present. I know, especially my mamas that's on here, that can be hard to do. We're used to go. But just go ahead and take that deep breath in for me and hold it. And then let it go. All right, this space right now is for you. You are in a space that you don't have to pretend that you're fine. You don't have to pretend that you have it all figured out. And I know I keep looking down. I'm just making sure I don't miss comments. On my phone, I have it down low so I can see if anybody's commenting. But you also don't have to be the strong one for everyone else in this space. This space is a safe space I created for us to come and be raw and be vulnerable. And I just caused an earthquake with my desk, but just for you to show up as you. All right. If you are new here and we haven't met yet, I am Alexandria. I help women break free from self-doubt, reclaim their worth, and build lasting, unshakable confidence through inner healing, intentional action, and just a whole lot of being honest and truthful and being ourselves. All right, that's who I am. And I don't know why. I feel like I'm on edge tonight, but I am. It is what it is. It's probably just the chaos of the last few weeks catching up and how passionate I am about talking shame. So I am going to take the breath myself for just a second to reground myself. But tonight's conversation is going to be one that most of us don't talk about out loud. We've probably heard about it, maybe in stories that you've heard, or in like podcasts that you've heard, audibles maybe that you've listened to, conversations maybe that you've had, but more often than not, I feel like it's one of those topics that's kind of swept under the rug. All right, and that, again, that's shame. And it's this silent weight that we carry. It is a big reason, a big hidden reason that so many of us stay stuck, even when we're doing all the right things and we just can't figure out why we're staying stuck. And learning how to face it, how to heal from it, and how to rebuild is going to be the core of living with real resilience, with real self-trust, and with real confidence. All right. And if anything I say hits home tonight, as always, make sure you drop me or let me know how you're feeling. Let me know the emotions that this brings up for you. Okay. But where I want to start is by talking about how sneaky shame can be. It's not going to show up with these big flashing warning lights. Usually it creeps in the quiet moments. Somebody that's done a lot of research on shame, and an author that I absolutely love. If you have not listened to Brene Brown's work, I really encourage you to listen to her. She is phenomenal. I admire her work. I admire the research she has done on shame. She talks a lot about vulnerability, and she's a powerhouse in this area. But she has spent her entire career studying shame and vulnerability. And she defines shame as this intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love, belonging, and connection. All right. So something I want you to hear from this, and I think this was what was really eye-opening for me, is that shame is not guilt. They're often tied together as the same thing. They are not the same thing. They are two very separate things. All right, guilt is more, and I want to make sure I don't say these backwards. Guilt is more of an emotion. And I want to look that up because I think I'm saying that backwards. I think I have it flipped. To where shame is that feeling of unworthiness that we have. Okay. So guilt is going to say, I made a mistake, right? I made a mistake when I said what I said. I made a mistake when XYZ happened. What shame is going to tell you, what you're going to hear when that shame kicks in, is I am the mistake. And I often think of this when like getting onto my boys for something. I want to be very careful in the way I say something. Like, I'm not mad at you. I am mad at your actions, right? Because they are not the mistake. Their actions were the mistake. And how many of us, when we make a mistake, the first thing we think of is, I am the mess up. I'm the one, like, I am wrong. No, your actions were incorrect. Your actions were right. It has nothing to do with who you are as a person. So it's that shift from I did something wrong to I am something wrong. That's where it gets toxic. All right. That's where it gets really bad. And that's where it starts impacting your worth. And if you're anything like me, you didn't realize how much shame runs the show. And it's going to come across in things like, I should have known better. I'm not cut out for this. Everyone else is handling this better than me. If I were stronger, this never would have happened. Or if I were stronger, this wouldn't be so hard. Shame is what's going to convince you that struggle equals failure. That the hard seasons that you go through make you less than. And that your worth is something that you have to earn back once you fix yourself. If this is making sense, even if you're catching this on the replay, ladies, let me know in the comments. Let me know if this is making sense, if it's hitting home, or if you're like, girl, I'm not following, that's okay too. Let me know. But the longer you let that shame sit and let it run underneath, then the smaller you're going to start to feel. All right, you're going to start taking fewer risks. You're going to dream a little less. And you're going to start to live in fear of being found out as not enough. Someone else that I've been listening a lot to is Mel Robbins. And she refers to shame as emotional quicksand. Quicksand. So one misstep, one hard moment, and if you're not careful, you start sinking, right? You sink into the overthinking. You sink into the self-blame. You sink into paralysis. She calls it analysis paralysis, which I love, where you start over-analyzing everything and you stay frozen. But again, these are things, and the reason I know this is because I have experienced all of this, and I'm sure we all have. It's something that I'm starting to learn how to recognize, and then I meet right where it's at, and I work on it. But it's so hard because shame has a way of stealing your voice, of stealing your courage. And it makes it to where you can't really see yourself clearly as who you truly are. Another one of my favorites, and I know I'm throwing a lot of authors in here, but these are some of my favorites that I have really enjoyed listening to lately. And this one you've heard me talk about a lot, but Jamie Kern Lima, in her book Worthy, she talks about how shame convinces you that if people really saw the messy parts of you, then they would pull away their love, they would pull away their trust, and they would pull their belief away. Because what shame is doing is it's telling you that being imperfect makes you unlovable. So because of that, shame convinces you to hide. It convinces you to keep quiet. It convinces you to settle and to shrink. And even like, and when you carry that shame, your wins don't even feel like wins because they don't feel safe. So you'll go and you'll make this big accomplishment or have this big accomplishment, but instead of feeling proud of yourself, you feel like a fraud. You'll have a good moment, but then your mind tells you it's just luck and that you better not let anybody get too close. So the thing with shame is it does not just weigh you down emotionally. All right, it's going to chip away at your resilience. It's going to make it harder and harder to get back up when you do fall. And we're all going to fall, right? It's going to happen. But that shame keeps you stuck. It keeps you down. It doesn't allow you to get back up. It makes those setbacks that we go through feel final. And it makes your struggle feel really personal. And then what happens is you'll stay stuck in that shame and you don't reach your full potential. You hold back. You don't live the life to the size you're capable of living it to. And that is why resilience matters. That's the third pillar inside my mastermind that we dig into is this resilience. And I'm not talking like this fake resilience, not just slapping a smile on your face and pushing through the pain. That's not resilience. That's not being honest to yourself. That's not honoring your emotions and your feelings, right? What we're talking is real resilience. The one that allows you to stand back up and say, that was hard. That was really hard, but I am still worthy. I am still capable, and I'm still becoming. Something else that Brene Brown says is that if you put shame in a petri dish, it needs 3 things to grow. It needs secrecy, it needs silence, and it needs judgment. However, if you douse it with empathy, it cannot survive. So when we get stuck in that shame cycle, right, we make our mistake and then we start beating ourselves up and we don't share with anybody what we're going through. There's your secrecy, right? You're doing it in silence and then you're judging yourself. So that shame is just going to get worse and worse and worse. Versus if you would give yourself the same empathy that you would give a friend, then it breaks you out of that shame cycle. All right, compassion is going to kill shame. So be compassionate with yourself. Community kills shame. Who are the people in your circle that you can go to when you're feeling this way that's going to help pull you out of this shame cycle? And truth telling kills shame. Okay, so I know a few lives ago I talked about meeting whatever those feelings are right where they're at and asking, okay, what of this is true and what is my mind just making up? Where can I find the truth in what I'm telling myself? Because more often than not, the things that we're telling ourselves isn't fully lined up with what's really true. We are harder on ourselves than we need to be. But when you learn to meet those struggles with kindness instead of cruelty, when you learn to speak truth to yourself instead of burying it down, and when you learn to move through those hard moments without making them mean that you are broken, that's when you're going to become unshakable. That's when you're going to be able to meet that shame right where it's at and move through it and past it. All right, you're going to stop shrinking. You're going to stop self-sabotaging. And you're not going to keep questioning whether or not you're good enough. You'll find that you start living in a way that is peaceful. And you start handling those setbacks without losing yourself. You start trusting that even when things are messy, you're still exactly where you need to be. And again, ladies, if this is something you're struggling with, I encourage you, reach out to me. Let's talk about my mastermind, all right? Because I'm not there for surface level success. We're going to dig into this. We're going to figure out where you're at, what's going on, and we're going to get you through it. Because that steady, grounded confidence doesn't fall apart when life gets heavy. It relies on everything. Confidence that relies on everything going perfectly is going to crumble. And again, I go back to, if you have not built that foundation of worth first, which is where we're going to start, everything's going to crumble anyways, even that confidence. You have to believe in your worth. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that you are worthy before you build the confidence on top. And then once you do, and you start building that confidence, you have to build the resilience of knowing you're going to hit setbacks. This is not going to be a perfect journey. I'm always going to be growing. But when you hit that and when you figure that out, that's when your confidence becomes solid. When you build that confidence through facing shame with compassion and you rise anyway, that's the confidence that's going to last you. All right. It's kind of a quiet night tonight, and that's okay. So again, I encourage you, if you're watching this on the replay, ladies, let me know if anything hit. Let me know what stuck out to you. If there was anything in here you wanted me to go deeper on in a future live, I would love to know that as well. I want to make sure that inside this space, I'm adding value for you. All right, so if there's something that sticks out, something that you want to know more about, that you want me to do a deep dive on within the realm of worth or confidence or resilience, because that's what we do in this space, I would love to know. So let me know, and I will find a future live to focus on that area. Okay, but in the meantime, if you want to know more about my mastermind, if you are ready to start believing in yourself and building your confidence and building your resilience, let me know. Comment worthy below and I will reach out to you. All right. Or if you're looking for something maybe a little bit smaller for now, a little bit more personalized, comment roadmap and I'll get you the information on how to receive your roadmap, which is tailored to your journey. All right. With that being said, as always, I want you to remember you are not broken. You are not failing, and you are not too far gone. All right, you're growing, you're learning, you're stretching, And you're becoming the woman that rises not because life is easy, but because you know your worth even when it's hard. Again, if you're watching this, thank you for taking the time for watching. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for sharing this space with me. And thank you for choosing yourself. I am so proud of you. And I'm so proud of you for listening to this conversation, because sometimes it can be a hard one to hear. But no matter what shame has tried or tries to tell you, your story's not over yet. All right, it is just getting started. With that, remember, you are worthy, you are enough, and I'm empowering you always.